and welcome to, welcome to our webinar today with Susan G. Komen. I think, we'll probably have some more folks join, but don't want to keep you guys waiting. I know a lot of you might be on a lunch break, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us. I have not met a lot of you yet, and so I want to introduce myself. My name is Brandy Engelberger, and I am the new State Executive Director here for the entire state of Pennsylvania. So working both in the Pittsburgh area, West PA, and then also the greater Philadelphia and East PA area. So I'm very excited to have joined the team just last month. I'm really excited over the next several weeks and months to start to connect with a lot of our great supporters in the Pennsylvania community. So again, really appreciative of you joining us today. I think you're going to really enjoy what we put together to share with you about some really great things that we're doing here in Pennsylvania with Susan G. Komen. And that's me, and I want to introduce the entire team in Pennsylvania. So if you haven't met them already, you'll know who is here that you can contact at any time with questions or to chat. So I'm going to pass it over to Taylor to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Taylor Kazoka. I'm the development manager for Eastern Pennsylvania, so covering everywhere from Harrisburg to Scranton and mainly the greater Philadelphia area. So if you're on this side of the state and have any questions, I'm your go-to person. And the other Pennsylvania team member is going to be Molly. So if Molly, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. You caught me trying to I wanted to match my colleagues and have the pink background. However, I couldn't save it fast enough. I'm Molly Sweet. I am the development manager in Western PA, and I sit in Pittsburgh, PA. So I am your contact and go-to for all things Komen here in the Pittsburgh area.
Sorry, I'm the worst with PowerPoint controls, and somehow I'm in charge. So here at Komen, our vision is quite simple. We're imagining a world without breast cancer. I always jokingly say that I will be the happiest person in the unemployment line when we find cures for breast cancer. And to do this, our mission is to save lives by meeting the most critical needs of our communities, investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer. And how are we doing this? To battle breast cancer, we are conquering aggressive and deadly breast cancers, mainly stage 4 and metastatic in this term, to help people live longer and better lives, which means funding research to help find new treatment options to help people live these longer lives. In addition, we're also ensuring that all people get the care they need and to achieve health equity across the country. After 40 years of experience, this is our 40th birthday, we have developed a 360 approach because breast cancer is not a singular direction. These 360 approach includes research, care, community, and action. Throughout this webinar, we'll be covering each of these topics. Together, we've made great progress. Komen was founded in 1989, and since then we've been able to, not 1989, 1983, and since then we've been able to reduce the breast cancer mortality rates.
Why are you walking like that? Why are you walking like that?
All right, we're going to ask everybody to remain on mute unless you have a question during that time. So as I was saying, since 1989, we have reduced the breast cancer mortality rate by 42%. We've invested nearly $1.1 billion in research, and we've invested more than $7.7 million in community health programs in the last year alone to ensure that people get the help that they need, understanding breast cancer, having access to screening and diagnostic exams, removing barriers to care, and receiving the support each step of the way. And yet, despite all of our progress, which has been amazing, there are still 3.8 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States. And like I said, we've been able to reduce cancer mortality by 42%, and 44,000 people in the United States will be diagnosed this year. Disparities are still happening for minority groups and those living in rural areas. And breast cancer treatment can cause emotional and financial strain that forces patients to choose between their health and other needs. This year, well, last year, we'll have this year's numbers soon, but last year, it was estimated that the breast cancer rates were 287,000, almost 288,000 cases, with unfortunately nearly 44,000 deaths. To put that into perspective, if you're local, if you're in Philadelphia, you'll know Citizens Bank Park. I don't know what the Pirates play at, but that park, it's about if every single seat in that stadium was filled, that's how many deaths there were in the past year due to breast cancer. So we still have work to do. And I'll pass it over to Molly.
Hi, I'll take it from here, Taylor. So one thing that is very, very crucial to note is that Susan G. Komen has invested more in the research to fight breast cancer than any other nonprofit organization, second to none to the US government. So, you know, what does that mean? We want to drill this down and see what these research dollars are really going to and how they get allocated. And here's the breakdown, because that's what's often asked of us. Where are these active areas of research investment? The majority of which, as you can see, 57% is focused on incurable metastasis and recurrence of cancer, followed by treatment and then prevention, all, you know, in line to go with our 360-degree approach to cancer, as we have to take care of the folks that are, you know, in treatment, as well as those that have metastasized, as well as the information of having 39 clinical trials. We are very excited to actually have a lot of these initiatives being active in research right here in Pennsylvania. We actually have 3 Komen scholars here in Pennsylvania, but 2 in the Pittsburgh area. And I'll give you a little bit preview. We're going to be hearing from both of those doctors next month on our next month's webinar. And we'll give you some more information about that at the end.
So one of our major focuses is increasing health equity across the state. And one of the things that we could do to reduce breast cancer disparities is by 30% is if people could just have access to care and support that they need. Especially around COVID, we've noticed people put off their mammograms, they didn't go to the doctors as often, but we hear it all the time, unfortunately, and we're really pushing, now that we're in a post-COVID world, really pushing that urge to go get your screenings and get your mammogram. Without access to these early detections, it's more likely that somebody would be diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer. The longer it takes for an individual to detect breast cancer, the quicker their 5-year survival rate unfortunately declines. The unexpected cost can cause many people to cancel or delay recommended diagnostic testing. And the average out-of-pocket cost for an insured person for a diagnostic mammogram is $234 and a little over $1,000 for a breast MRI. But we're here to help with that. We've been partnering with trusted providers in the community, and I'm proud to say Philadelphia is one of the pilots for this program, our screening and diagnostics program. Philadelphia is one of the pilots. We are expanding it as we go. So if you are 300% below the poverty line, uninsured, we are more than happy to help you find a free mammogram with our vouchers. Right now, you can receive a voucher to go to University of Pennsylvania, Mainline Health, or Christiana Care in Delaware by calling our helpline and getting more information about this. Another great asset that we have is our financial assistance program. So if you are currently diagnosed with breast cancer and receiving treatment, or you are a metastatic thriver, you would be eligible for this program, being 300% below the federal poverty line. So if you are currently stage 1 to 3, you would receive a $500 check, and if you are a metastatic thriver, you would receive a $700 check. This check can be used for a number of things, because we know breast cancer is expensive. Unfortunately, it happens, the bills add up, taken off work, taken a number of things. So this can help with rent and utilities, transportation to and from treatment, food, child or elder care, home equipment, medical equipment, anything that you guys need to really get through treatment, and making sure that you can get to treatment through with a transportation or however you need to. And Molly, would you like to take it back?
Yes, thank you, Taylor. So this is just a quote from one of our patients that utilize the treatment, financial assistance program. And I won't read the quote sheet, but as you can see, this is exactly why we created this program, to get to the heart of the issue, where she knew that people were working collectively to help her and get her the help that she needed. And she was able to make her own mind up of what to do with such funds. And I just want to put a quick highlight on the fact that when you say 300% below the poverty line, to put that in regular terms, I thought that meant quite destitute. You know, it's our scholars just shared with me last week when we met that is something along the lines of a family of four making over $90,000 a year. So that's most people we know. So that is money that we're offering through the fundraising and efforts that we do here at Komen for these exact programs, just to be clear about that, because it sounds like it's a much more lower number than it actually is. So advancing health equity, that is one of the key initiatives for Komen is mission, advancing forward from this moment forward. When we talk about health equity, we're talking about addressing in a real way and tackling, the main components of health disparities, such as discrimination, which we know has consequences, often feelings of loneliness, powerlessness, but mostly a real genuine lack of access. So we talked a little bit about this before, but this is what Komen is actually doing about it and what your dollars are funding. One of our flagship health equity programs is our program focused on Black patients in 10 U.S. metropolitan areas across the country that have the worst breast cancer statistics and disparities. This initiative is called Stand for Her, a health equity revolution. And the goal is to reduce breast cancer disparities in the Black community by 25%, starting in these metropolitan areas. Have to start somewhere, and these are the 10 places we are beginning. They're listed there, and you can also scan the QR code to get some more information on the program. Komen conducted, I lost my place there. Komen conducted a landscape analysis of these 10 cities and targeted Stand for Her. And we learned that to describe systemic barriers that may contribute to breast cancer inequities. We needed to learn and understand community and health systems contributing to these breast cancer inequities. Among many other learnings from our landscape analysis, we confirmed that access to care is playing a part in the disparities being experienced in these cities and beyond. I don't think that's a surprise to any of us, but we proved it. As a result, we are now working in each metro area to provide access to screening and diagnostic services support through our Komen Breast Care Helpline, our financial assistance program for patients, which we just discussed, for people in treatment, and our patient navigators. We also finalized a landmark report with detailed statistic about the lived experience of breast cancer in the Black community and recommendations for real health interventions to support health equity for these 10 metropolitan areas. Here's where the rubber really meets the road in what Komen has done. We have hired and trained 6 culturally competent patient navigators to serve patients in the metropolitan areas. We developed and launched the first of its kind training module on navigating racism and bias that are real in the healthcare system for Black patients. We trained 73 Black individuals through Komen's Navigation Nation, a web-based, self-paced patient navigation program, training program, and professional development network. We also served 968 Black patients living within the designated metropolitan areas through Komen's financial assistance program that we've already highlighted. And 1,602 people who self-reported as Black through Komen's Breast Care Helpline were also helped and collaborated with. We also collaborated with 7 breast oncology practices located in the designated metropolitan areas through a structured quality improvement program focusing explicitly on health equity, and developed and launched a program to provide screening and diagnostic services, which Taylor mentioned, for Black patients living in those diagnostic areas. That was a mouthful. Okay, lost my first page here. Oh, I'm sorry, bear with me. Okay, We mobilize for advocacy at the federal and state levels. Komen Center for Public Policy works to secure hundreds of millions of dollars in breast cancer research, safety net programs, and support needed to make policy changes every year. And we need your help, and you can become an advocate. You can get involved with Komen's work to improve the outcome of lives, and you can text Komen to 40649 to become a Komen advocate.
And just to add to that, we typically have an advocacy day. I believe it's going to be in April. And if anybody is interested, we're more than happy to send information about that. But it's kind of where we march on Capitol Hill to meet with all your local representatives. So more than happy, if anybody's interested, feel free to reach out to Molly or I. We're more than happy to send information.
Do you want me to take over, Taylor?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Right.
So feel free, Toni.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here on the PA Walk webinar. I am Toni Lee. I'm the Senior Manager for Patient Navigation. Fun fact about me, while I don't currently reside in Pennsylvania, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, so it's exciting to come back and speak to the PA constituents. So today, I'll just give a brief overview of Komen's Patient Care Center, which does include Komen's Patient Navigation Program. And we also have a local patient navigator on the call who will give you a few examples of how Komen's suite of services have helped individuals diagnosed with breast cancer get access to care and remain in treatment. So you can go to the next slide. So Taylor and Molly touched on a few of Komen's programs that are a part of Susan G. Komen's Patient Care Center. And so our Patient Care Center is an integrated suite of services designed to ensure that no one faces breast cancer alone. And so the overarching goal of our Patient Care Center is to save lives by ensuring patients stay in the breast cancer continuum of care, overcome barriers and challenges to accessing high quality breast care services, making sure that they remain in complete treatment and have a high quality of life and improve long-term outcomes. Our program does serve thousands of individuals nationwide. And again, we provide a suite of essential patient services, including one-on-one personal connection to offer psychosocial support through our breast care helpline, resource navigation to local services through our navigation program, and as they mentioned previously, financial assistance to patients in treatment. And so our patient navigators specifically can help by guiding patients through the healthcare system, identifying barriers to care, helping patients to enhance communication with their medical providers, their medical team. Our navigators work to really find resources and support and make those connections to overcome those barriers. And of course, connecting to Komen's other programs. So we definitely leverage our own internal resources. And we can help arrange appropriate services so that appointments are made and kept for our patients. And so on this slide, particularly, I'll just mention, so we do have a breast care helpline. So this offers support in both English and Spanish, provided by trained specialists and oncology social workers to those navigating our complex healthcare system. They mentioned earlier a screening and diagnostics program, which connects uninsured and underinsured individuals to clinical services like clinical breast exams, screening mammograms, and diagnostic services, and maximizing kind of our utilization of existing safety net programs like the breast and cervical cancer early detection program, and our partnerships, as Taylor mentioned, with several community-based medical facilities to provide the actual services. And Komen's financial assistance program does help to cover those expenses like housing, transportation, food, medications, childcare. And oftentimes we know that with the breast cancer diagnosis, folks are going to be in need of that financial assistance. And so again, as Taylor mentioned, stage 0 to 3 patients would receive $500 and our metastatic patients would receive $750. And patients are eligible to apply once every 12 months. And then patient navigation is a virtual-based program. And so our navigators support patients throughout their treatment journey. So whether most of the time they come to us and they have an abnormal result and we need to get diagnostic resolution and into treatment, or a lot of them do come to us already in treatment. So we want to make sure that we get access and that we ensure continuation and completion of care. And so we do have a local Pennsylvania navigator on the call today, Stephanie Nieves. She is in the Philadelphia area, and I will have her introduce herself, and she will give 2 examples of how we were able to assist patients through patient navigation and leverage other programs within our patient care center. And then lastly, if you or anyone you know is in need of assistance, they can contact our breast care helpline at 1-877-GO-KOMEN or helpline@komen.org.
Thank you, Toni. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Nieves, and I'm the patient navigator here at Komen. I am in the Philadelphia area. So if anyone ever needs my help, please contact us. I do want to share 2 stories of what we have been working on. I worked with a client. She was a Spanish-speaking client who contacted Komen Breast Care Helpline and was referred to Komen Patient Navigation Program. This client had been recently diagnosed and needed help applying for health insurance through the marketplace. The client needed health insurance in order to start treatment. During the barrier assessment, the patient mentioned that she had applied for Medicaid but was denied. As I continued to ask her question, I noticed that she was meeting the Medicaid requirements. Because of the language barrier and the client not understanding what was going on, I decided to call the Department of Social Services with the client to ask what was the reason why she was denied. After hours of waiting on hold, we finally got an answer and we were able to fix the problem after numerous calls. A few days later, the client received a call that she was approved and was given emergency Medicaid, which she used to schedule her first appointment. 2 weeks after contacting Komen, this client was able to start treatment and was the happiest that, she was so grateful that we were able to help her. I also helped a local client from Philadelphia who was in treatment and contacted Komen because she needed help with house repairs. During the intake call, I completed her barrier assessment and helped her apply to our Komen financial program, which she was approved and used the money to do some home repairs. I also provided her with local programs that helped seniors with home repairs here in Philadelphia. While that was the reason why she initially called us, on one of our follow-up calls, I was able to identify that she had some barriers with co-pays. She had mentioned that she didn't have money to pay for the medication co-pays, and it was getting too much for her to handle. And she was scared that she would have to stop her treatment. I conducted a research and I was able to connect her to a resource that provides co-pay assistance, and this client was approved and awarded $16,000 for medical assistance and was able to stay in treatment. And these are just some of our success stories that that we have here, and we have them every day, and we're so grateful to be working with these clients.
Thank you, Stephanie and Toni. That was really wonderful information, and it's so great to hear what you guys are doing literally on the ground in the Pennsylvania area to help those fighting breast cancer. I wanted to open it up to see if there's any questions that anybody has about what we just heard. If so, you can take yourself off of mute.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Tamika Bryant. I am very familiar with Komen. This was an amazing presentation, something that I wish I had and knew when I was diagnosed. I am an almost 10-year triple negative breast cancer thriver. But what I would love if you would touch on more is the advocacy day and kind of what we do there, why it's important and all that, because oftentimes I don't think people recognize just the impact that makes.
Sure thing. So it's Advocacy Day. Molly and I both attended it last year. It was virtual last year, and it was I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun. We worked with people who across Pennsylvania. Please don't judge me. I'm very, very bad with government, so don't judge me when I say the wrong words. But we worked with people across Pennsylvania in each of the different representatives markets. We would meet with different representatives to kind of go over. In each year, they changed different policies that were really advocating for our House of Representatives to push through to get more funding for breast cancer, either breast cancer research or to get more funding for national breast cancer screening programs. I'm not too sure what the programs are going to be this year that we're going to be advocating for. I do apologize. I can get more information for anybody interested. But it's just a great day to meet up with other people who are very interested in making a difference in our legal system here, and working with Congress and representatives and just kind of getting these programs passed so we can get more funding for, like I said, research or screening programs, anything like that. Oops, so sorry. Oh, my
Brandy just
goodness.
dropped in the chat how to be more on advocacy, and we had in this past session several bills on the floor level that were under consideration to be reintroduced and some to be voted on, and they were mostly in the diagnostic realm. So it was mostly like we'll do the first ultrasound, but we'll do the first mammogram, but then we won't do the ultrasound. And so it's to get full, federally state level compliance for many more of our patients in our constituency. So it was really fun because you had to get a crash course in all of state legislation and federal legislation from our advocacy team here but they do all of that work behind the scenes to help our constituents in that regard. So I love dipping my toe in that and learning more. And we always looking for volunteers in that arena too. And there'll be a tent at our walk that also highlights all the advocacy work that we do.
Yes, it is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Even me, who I said I'm terrible with the government, always have been, always will be. But it was a lot of fun just being able to speak with the different reps in their house and their workers, and just kind of seeing where they stand too with these different programs. It was quite a great day and really changing some opinions. Some that maybe weren't so much for passing it, listening to us. We had survivors come on and share their stories. You could see their minds changing quite a bit. So as Molly said, we had quite a few of these passed on, so it was pretty great.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in for a second from the patient navigation perspective. If you have a story, please share. It's oftentimes those personal stories like Stephanie just described that really do get the attention of the legislatures. While they can see all the statistics and everything, it's nice to tie it in with a real patient experience, a real story, so that they know that there's a real human connection and a real need behind those numbers that they often get and see and are aware of. So if you want to share your story, I think you can go to Komen.org and share that as well. So
I'll also just chime in that's a really good point that you make, because that was part of the experience, is that they would pair us up with other advocates that aren't from Komen. So I worked with an attorney that was local here to Pittsburgh, and she was diagnosed, she was her own advocate to be diagnosed. It would not have been in normal circumstances. And she obviously was very passionate and had a very rare form of breast cancer, is really lucky to still be with us in her early 40s. And so she helps us every year. So I learned a ton from her in how these bills can make a big difference. And it kind of gave a whole nother spin to my day every day, because sometimes we get siloed in what we do. But this 360-degree approach that Komen has is 100% authentic. And to kind of dip your toe and see that side of it, if you have any sort of passion in that world, we are always looking for help there as well.
Yeah, and that's in the chat box how you can actually sign up to become an advocate, and you would get some, information about those days. I also would just encourage everyone to do that. I think it's a really rewarding experience to be able to, be literally boots on the ground making the changes. So I encourage you all to do that too. Do we have any other questions for Toni or Stephanie? And if so, you can just come off mute.
I would just like to
Okay.
thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do for our constituents. And I love hearing the stories. So more of that, please. And thank you for joining this webinar to share with the folks that help us raise all of these funds, what we actually do with our money. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thank you for
And good
having
luck
me.
with your walks.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And if everyone else wants to stay on, I think that was,
Sorry, technical difficulties.
oh, no problem. There we
User-
go.
It's user error over here.
I hope that was educational for everyone. I hope you learned something new, and I hope it's a way to kind of see the impact that every individual that's supporting the organization is helping to make for, as you can see, literally people right here in our backyard and in our community. So the next thing we want to get into is the More Than Pink Walk. And I know at the beginning we introduced ourselves as the Pennsylvania team, but we would love to hear from you and a little introduction. So if everyone would like to put in the chat box, we can see most of your names, but maybe your name. And then would love to hear if you've participated in the More Than Pink Walk, or maybe in the past, the Race for the Cure in the past. And if so, how long you've been participating. And if you are inclined, we'd love to hear your why and why it is that you participate as well. And if you want to share if you participate in the Pittsburgh or the East PA event. Does everyone have access to the chat box? I don't know if you guys are still writing or you don't want to share in the chat box. I'll give it another minute or couple seconds. There we go. So Laura in Pittsburgh, not walked in the More Than Pink Walk, but used to do Race for the Cure. Very great. Stage 4 breast cancer, 43. Thank you so much for joining us. And happy that you were able to join the webinar. And we, of course, if we can ever support you, please always reach out to us. Billy, both walk. And we've even ventured into New Jersey. So awesome. Well, whether you're new to the program or you've been participating for a while, we are always looking to engage more and more people in the efforts. It's a great day. So we'll get into that a little bit. You want to go to the next slide, Taylor? We are really excited. The upcoming More Than Pink Walks are just really around the corner, considering it's mid-February already, which is crazy. So we will be returning on Mother's Day, May 14th, for the East Pennsylvania More Than Pink Walk. That's going to be at Parks Casino, which for those of you that did participate last year, same location. Better weather though this year. And the Pittsburgh More Than Pink Walk, we do have a little bit of an update for those of you that have participated in that in the past. Traditionally, that was always held on Mother's Day as well. And as much as we would love to do that, we did make the decision to move it just 1 week to Sunday, May 21st. This is to create a better experience for all of our participants. We would have been running into, literally on the ground, probably running into all of the people that are attending Carnegie Mellon's commencement that happens to be that day this year. So again, to respect their academic calendar and to give our participants the best experience, we will do the Pittsburgh More Than Pink Walk on Sunday, May 21st this year. And so what is the More Than Pink Walk? This is one of our signature events for Susan G. Komen. We have them actually all across the country. We have about 50 of them. Most of them do take place in the fall, but we know that our communities really have had it in the spring, enjoyed having it in the spring. It's a tradition for a lot of folks, so we continue to host ours in the spring. And this is really our commitment to take action, right, in the fight against breast cancer by offering the opportunity to our community members to get involved and do the same thing by raising money to save lives. So not only is it a chance to fundraise and make an impact leading up to the event, but it's a really wonderful day. It's a chance to come together, survivors meeting other survivors, caregivers meeting other caregivers, and remembering and honoring people that we may have lost in the fight as well. And so it's a really great day to come together, meet other people together as a community, fight back against breast cancer, share stories, and also have a chance to learn a little bit more about what Susan G. Komen is doing in terms of fulfilling our life-saving mission. So there's a lot of activity that goes on at this event. It's really a celebration of life and of the community. And it reminds us that we're not alone, right? Whether you're a survivor or caregiver, or maybe you have lost someone, it's a chance to just come together and not be alone in that fight. And so with the More Than Pink Walk just around the corner, we encourage everyone that wants to get involved first to register. That's the first step. You can either join as an individual and come out and meet lots of other people at the event, or you have the opportunity to start a team. And this can be, anybody that you know, anybody that you care about, anybody that you socialize with, anybody that you work with. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be colleagues, it could be a mix of anyone that has an interest in fighting back against breast cancer. And the really cool thing is we really want to set everyone up for success. So once a person registers, we have an online, and the websites are listed here, and we will also send those out so you can just click right on them. But once someone's registered, they actually will receive their own personal fundraising page. And this can be customized and personalized. So folks that can share a photo, they can share their own story or a story of a loved one. And all the tools and resources are there to make it really helpful to reach out to friends and family. For people that maybe it's the first year participating, we totally understand, right? You may not even know how to get started. And so we try to make it very easy and simple and provide email templates and a tracker so that you can see who's been donating, as well as emails to thank those people that donate. Once you are registered, if you want to go back, sorry, thanks. Once you are registered either as an individual or once you're registered if you register as a team, the next step is to recruit your friends and family. So you can do that by asking them, word of mouth, calling them, texting them. But there's also an option right within your personal fundraising page to send an email that would invite them to join. Once they join, they're part of your team, and now they also get their own fundraising page. And now you also have an overall umbrella team page. So anybody that's on your team will show up on a roster. Anybody that fundraises for your team will show up those donations as well as on the team page. And then the next step is to fundraise. So you can set a goal. You'll actually have a thermometer, like a tracker on the website that shows your progress to your goal. We have right on the website, but also by reaching out to Taylor, Molly, or myself, all the resources to help you, whether that be, depending on how you like to look at it. We actually have an in-depth fundraising toolkit if you want to pull up a PDF and look through it that way. But we are also always available, for kind of a personal coaching and strategy call to talk about how do you build your team and how can you make the greatest impact and what steps, to take to really do that. So putting the fun in fundraising, the number one reason that people do not donate to a cause or to a person's cause that they're fundraising for is because they say they weren't asked, they didn't know. A lot of people would donate if they simply were asked. A few things, those that are willing and feel comfortable sharing a personal story can go a long way as well. When you share, personally why it is that you're fundraising and to look at it as really giving other people the opportunity to make an impact as well. That's how I like to look at it. So for instance, I don't know how many of you are on Facebook, but there's an option to connect to Facebook fundraising, and it makes it very, very simple. I always encourage people, and if you can't do anything else, I would say connect to Facebook. And I say that because we all have a large network on Facebook. It's not always all of our best friends, right? It's not always people that we know all of their personal, what's going on in their personal lives. And a lot of times I see people connect to Facebook and then they'll tell me that, it's unbelievable. People that I never would have asked, people that I never would have thought of, either donated, and a lot of them reach out to then share, their own personal story. And so you don't know, right, who on your Facebook friend list might have an interest in making an impact against breast cancer too. So when it comes to fundraising, the best thing to do is ask everybody. Again, share your story, but ask everyone, because you don't know who will give and who won't. You could start with a self-donation. That's an option that you can do right on the website, and just to kind of lead by example and show that you also are committed to it. Like I mentioned, connecting to Facebook, you could ask 10 friends to donate $10. Then you're going to hit, if you set a goal of $100, if you look at it that way, it breaks it down a little bit easier on how you can achieve that. And you can also get really fun with it and creative. So people do things like selling their own items through like some kind of garage sale. Like today, it might be more like a virtual garage sale. People can do if you're doing a team with a company or your family or your friends, you can do everything from, like talent shows and bake sales and really anything. Make it you, make it unique, make it something that you're interested in doing, and then just add, the fundraising aspect to it. I mentioned $100 goal before, and that's something that we encourage every participant to set a goal of at least $100. This way, obviously, we're raising a lot of money through the event. That's going to go to all the great things we talked about earlier. We feel that it's an achievable goal. We feel that we provide the resources to do that, and it also obviously helps to offset the cost that we have to put out to host the event. So we want to incentivize those people that do reach $100 and congratulate them and give them an opportunity to be recognized either on event day or throughout the year after event day. And so we have a couple of shirts. One is our participants t-shirt. It's a shirt that we provide each year to those folks that raise $100 or more. And it's localized for the event. And then we also have our survivor shirt that all of our survivors that register for the event will receive, so that they can wear that proudly. That's the pink one on the lighter pink one on the left, so that they can wear that proudly either on event day or again throughout the year to be acknowledged as a survivor. So this year we have a really great process for those of you that have been involved in the past. Sometimes you come to the event and see like a very frantic t-shirt line and people trying to pick up their t-shirts at the event. So to make that process easier, we are actually going to be able to mail the t-shirts right out in the mail. If you get it right in your mailbox, either before the event or after the event, depending on when you hit that $100 level, or you register if you're a survivor. So for individuals who raise $100 or more by April 16th in East Pennsylvania, we can guarantee that your shirt will arrive in your mailbox before the event. So if you wanted to wear that to the event, you would have that option. And for Pittsburgh, anyone that raises $100 and is registered online by April 23rd, we can guarantee that they would get that in the mail by then. Those are the same dates for a survivor to guarantee their shirt before event day. And we will provide a survivor shirt to all survivors, regardless of how much they fundraise, just as long as they are registered online by that date, because obviously then we wouldn't know to mail it to you. Folks that will go, there's no, you don't have to stop fundraising on April 16th and April 23rd, and you can still earn your t-shirt. We just can't guarantee that you'll have it before event day, but you will receive that in the mail. So you can still wear that, year round as well. I referenced the fundraising center or the personal fundraising page. This just shows you kind of what it looks like. There's some really awesome things here. You can obviously look at all of the participation details, but this tracker here, you can set your own goal. You can change your goal. So if you set a goal and then you, oh my gosh, that's my picture on the bottom. I just realized that's me in the picture on the bottom. If you set a goal and then you hit it sooner than you thought, you could always change that and update it and make it larger. And this will show you at all times where your progress to that goal is. Like I mentioned, you can edit your personal page. So there's the option to upload a photo of me or yourself, or your family, or whatever it is, your company logo, whatever your reason is, and you have the option to share your story. Again, about why you participate. Down on the bottom, you can see the badges. This is something new over the last couple of years, which is really cool. You have these achievement badges that you can earn through mission or fundraising. So there's opportunities to earn them by learning something new about the work that Komen's doing, or when you hit different milestones within your fundraising efforts. We also have an app for those of you that like to just do a lot of things right from your phone. You can do all the things that you do on the website on the app, plus a little bit more. Your app coincides with your page. So if you update one, it'll update on the other. It's called More Than Pink Walk, or I'm sorry, More Than Pink app, and you can find it in your app store. And again, you can share your story on there, or it'll pass through. You can earn your mission badges. One of the really cool things with the app is that you can scan checks. So if you receive check donations and you don't want to go to the bank, you can scan those and they'll be uploaded there too. And then we have a Facebook group. So again, a large part of this event is about building our community. Of course, we want to raise money, but we also really want to connect the community. So many people come out of the More Than Pink Walk, formerly the Race for the Cure, and talk about a new friendship that they've made, or how nice it was to meet someone who has been a survivor for 25 years with a similar story to someone that's newly diagnosed, or to grieve together, to remember someone together as a family. So we have the Komen Pennsylvania Facebook group. If you're on Facebook and you search groups, it's called Komen Pennsylvania More Than Pink Walk. And we post in there, but you can post in there too. And you can comment, and we really want people to engage within the group. We'll share information there, but you'll always also get the information, whether it's through email or phone or something as well. We are also always looking for volunteers. We could not do what we do on our own. We really rely on volunteers and support to help us put on these events. So that includes day of volunteers. Obviously, it takes a village to put this on when we're expecting thousands of people to come out. So we have opportunities for people who want to get involved on a volunteer basis, and maybe they can help with setup on the day of, or a variety of different opportunities the day of. For both events, we're also building what we're calling an operations committee. And this is an opportunity to take on a larger volunteer role leading up to the event. So again, we put on these events. I know sometimes it's hard to imagine like how did this event just pop up? But it does take a lot of work. And we're looking for those passionate volunteers that want to help kind of own an area or an element of the event. So for instance, we have our Hope Village, and that is basically our survivor area, the chance for survivors to come in, mingle with other survivors, get some goodies, and just really feel that support and that recognition and that appreciation. And we really want to make that obviously a really wonderful experience for our survivors. So for instance, an operations committee member might be somebody that really takes to lead our Hope Village and decides, how are we going to decorate this? And, you know, really what kind of experience can we give these survivors, and how would we do that? So if you have an interest in volunteering, and again, we'll send this out in email too, but we have Miss Stephanie Hyde and her emails here, and she can help anybody get set up as a volunteer. And then again, we'll send this out, but these are the two walks. So again, East Pennsylvania will remain on Mother's Day, which this year is Sunday, May 14th. You can register. There's the QR code here. We're going to send the email out, or I'm sorry, the website out as well. And if you have any questions or challenges while trying to register, we're going to send out all of our contact information too. We would be happy to walk you through that process. And then the Pittsburgh More Than Pink Walk, again, moved one week later, Sunday, May 21st. That's going to be at Shenley Park in Pittsburgh, same location as it has been. And again, we will send out that website as well. And then I think Molly had referenced earlier to save the date for our next webinar, which will be Thursday, March 16th. And we have some really great partners that are going to talk to us about research as it relates to what we're doing.
They're very compelling speakers as well, and can speak very well in a layman's way of explaining the work they're doing with precision medicine, which is quite remarkable. They spoke at our Komen Bigwigs wrap reception for the winners of our October campaign, and everybody was riveted. So I highly recommend coming to that webinar next month, or making sure you get the recording, because that's happening right in our backyard.
Molly? And a quick thank you to our sponsors. Again, we cannot do this on our own. We rely on our partners. We rely on you. We rely on our participants to help make it all happen. So these are sponsors of the upcoming More Than Pink Walk, who we thank and appreciate. And we will send this out, but this is us and our contact information, and we are always available to chat through anything, to help you get set up, to answer questions. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. And that's what I have. I know we have a couple minutes if anybody does have any questions about the walks or about anything else today. And just take yourself off of mute. We've become a very intimate group now.
Thank you for having me. It was very informative.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Daniela. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Oh, hi. Thank you for the talk. It was very interesting, and I'm looking forward to walking again this year.
That's awesome. We look forward to it too. Like I said, we'll send everything out. But by all means, we would love to continue to connect and continue to work together. So by all means, reach out with anything. Join the Facebook group so we can see you on there too. And I hope that you can all join our next webinar next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the week, everyone.